go ahead and just postpone the payments that we're discussing tonight. About 1,800 bills will be due January 31st, and our recommendation will be just postpone it until February 28th. So that would be, and for everybody, and not try to get into who's a federal employee, who's a federal contractor, who might work for a federal contractor, restaurant owners might be impacted, et cetera, et cetera. So just go ahead and provide relief to everybody and give another 30 days for the payment of the supplemental personal property bills. So that's the taxation piece. The utilities piece is a little different. Under the utilities code, the city treasurer has authority today to extend service cutoffs. So people can't pay their water bill, can't pay their sewer bill, can't pay their garbage bill because they're furloughed, no checks coming in. The city treasurer right now can extend their cutoff date. And that authority is in the code right now. This is section 74 of our city code. The penalties and interest are a little different. The penalty is 10% of the balance owed. And the code is very specific about it's due, it's due and payable upon receipt of a bill, but any bill not paid by the first business day after the 25th day of the month is assessed the penalty, and it's a 10% penalty assessed. If council was interested in amending that, and we're happy to hear the discussion about that, that would require an ordinance, and we could bring that back and prepare it February 12th. And that would probably be some sort of temporary suspension of this section of code. And hopefully the situation will be resolved by then, but that might be hopeful.
We've had a few inquiries already, and mostly just that inquiries, not specific requests for payment plans, but they have mentioned that they're on furlough and what are we going to do. I've advised my staff to just take each situation as it comes in and treat it however it needs to be treated, which we would do anyway for any citizen that was in need. Mark did, or Mr. Whitley did mention that the next council meeting is on the 12th of February, and if there's an ordinance change necessary. I would also like to mention that is the next cutoff date for this group of folks, so that might kind of bump against each other there. But I am on the same page as we discussed earlier today, and will certainly do whatever it is that council directs me to.
Yeah, no, first of all, thank you, Mr. Withers, for bringing this forward, and thank you, Ms. Wood and staff. I certainly support this, and my only concern is that I don't want people to get cut off, and I also want to make sure people know that this is an option that is available to them. And so I just want to make sure that we, in some way, through website or, whatever avenues we have, that we do notify people that that is an option. I know that places an extra burden on your office, but I know that your office is always good to respond. So
we're happy to help.
So yeah, but my only concern is timing, to make sure people aren't cut off, and that fees are not, that we are not penalizing people for that. I think there are a lot of people who are trying to take out short-term loans and other things that are going to involve fees and living on credit, and I just would hate to add to that burden. So,
Thank you. Councilor Duffy and then Councilor Kelly.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, everyone, for working on this problem. I have one concern, is I don't know, even if the government does reopen, how soon people would get paid. And so, that's a concern, too. So I do worry about the length of this. I think we need to be realistic, but these immediate steps seem to be, the least that we need to do. Thanks.
All right. Councilor Kelly?
I just want to make sure I'm clear on one thing, and I have a general question for Mrs. Wood. So right now, you have the authority to defer the payments. We just do not have the authority to, or you don't have the authority to basically say, do away with the penalty.
I don't have that authority.
Correct, but you can defer. So the real issue here is the penalty. So for the public to understand, this is obviously, other than the scale of this potentially, this is not an issue you are unfamiliar with. That you do have people on a regular basis, I'm assuming, calling you asking. Absolutely. And that we as a city have always tried to accommodate as much as we possibly can.
Yes.
So I think that we just need to get it cleared up. So no, I have no issues of moving forward with something and coming back to us at the next meeting. I will assume, again, anybody asks and they're going to get the deferral, the issue would be whether or not they'll end up paying the penalty on that, and moving the bill back for everybody makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Withers?
I'd like to make a motion that we give the city manager authority to extend the pay period for the real estate tax, personal property tax, supplement. I don't think we need a motion on the ordinance. Can we just request that they come back with an ordinance? Okay, so the motion will just be for the extension, then for the city manager's office to do it.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Please cast your votes.
Vice Mayor Withers.
Oh. People.
Motion passes 6-0.
Yeah. With one abstention.
Yeah.
And I would like to request that the staff come forward with a motion, with the ordinance, with sunset clause tied to the end of the, I'm not sure whether we should say the end of the pay period or the end of to cover when these employees will get paid, so whatever that is. And I think as far as going back to the first motion, as we move forward in February, if we see that this thing is not settled, we can, of course, do something different at that time. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for their help in this. It's really, really appreciated.